So, quick question.
Okay, quick answer.
Yeah.
Something that's been on my mind here recently.
Oh, no.
All right. Cum is just pee, right?
God damn it.
Hey,
God.
hey, you can't take my joke. You can't take my joke and pretend it's yours. See, the last 30 minutes was in the reception area of our strip mall studio. I was like, the last thing that I want them to hear as I close the door is we can all agree that cum is really just pee, right?
I can see them marching in the streets now. I can see them marching in the streets with their picket signs. We can all see cum is just pee.
We hit Patreon real early.
Oh my gosh! No, it ain't got. We got the explicit label on there. It ain't gonna hurt anybody's feelings.
That's true.
Plus we're idiots.
I did swear a little bit before. I said some of the GDs.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, well.
At least I don't edit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's true. I don't have to edit that.
No.
You are explicit.
Have you boys ever seen the show Righteous Gemstones?
No.
No, I've heard the name before, but it's not ringing any ADHD bells.
Well, after today's episode, I think you might want to watch that show as well. What are we doing today? We're going to talk about some Fallout.
Fallout.
Let's get on into that intro.
It's like cheese.
Hey, everybody. I'm Austin Shazam Pfeiffer.
I'm Otto. Did this tea really come from the state, Cogdale?
I'm tiny. I don't have anything funny.
We are Nerd It Through the Grapevine, the podcast where three best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about some Fallout.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Here's the thing about some Fallout. To me, I was kind of excited just to see how it would play out on screen because I was never a man that played Fallout. I was a man who watched his friends play a lot of Fallout because...
So you've been Fallout adjacent.
Yes, because as a young man, I would ingest smokable salad. And instead of playing video games, I would go sit at my friend's house and I would watch him play video games because he was much better than me.
It's like a Let's Play, but in real life.
Honestly, it's before there were live streamers. It was one of those things that was just like, you know what? I really enjoy watching this Fallout nonsense. And Fallout was a game he played a lot because it's a long game.
I mean, and there's several of them, and it's one of those games that even when the game is over, there's still game to play, especially when you get to the later editions like New Vegas and 4. Now, I played the video games. I haven't played all of them. Like, don't come for me. I've played a little bit of 3, a little bit of New Vegas, and Fallout 4. I have been going back and playing New Vegas after watching the show because now I really like the show. I have a couple of issues with the show, but most of my issues I would consider minor issues. Like the story's great, it's enthralling, the actors are good,
But
I was just trying not to say that the protagonist was hot because she is.
well, that's fine if you think so.
Yeah, I know. I just
It doesn't hurt anybody's feelings.
look as the number one podcast for women.
We're hosting unfortunately, yeah. Well, the funniest thing too about it is like there are no women in the room, but plenty of tits.
That makes me sad.
And true.
Anyway, Walter Goggins.
I've got his page pulled up.
He did so good as Coop, as the ghoul. We're going to be spoiler laden, so.
Oh yeah, you might
just
as
so
well.
y'all know.
Here's the giant spoiler that you need to know is going to be happening.
Exactly. And honestly,
that was a wet one.
the thing that made me the most
And a squeaker.
excited about the show was the very final scene of the last episode, because once her dad escapes in the power armor and he goes through the California desert, and he's looking down the ridge at the skyline of Vegas, of the city of New Vegas. So I'm pretty sure season 2 is going to be New Vegas-y, which is going to be dope. I really wanted to get to that early just to get it out of the way.
Do you think they're going to make it the second season also in like 6 months?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I would hope so.
Right.
Because another thing I really loved was the actual just seeing them in a vault.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the games it's really cool, but you're not in the vaults much. I mean, you can find other vaults, go in there and do vault things, but the vaults are really just a neat idea. And to watch the people who live there start to discover the fuck shit that goes on in their vault, because every vault throughout the game had something crazy happen, and they explain it during the show, which was really neat too. Like, just so much good in the show that it overshadows the bad.
I mean, my favorite part of the vaults are that they have this, and especially in 33. In 33, to the way that they've got things ran, and they've got everybody believing X, X being they are a utopian society set out to be just and kind and intelligent and strong, and like all these different things to try
and
to
cousin loving.
Yeah, that also that too.
That kind of caught me off guard, honestly. I was
Yeah,
like,
me
oh,
too, but I understood it. It's like you're in a vault.
Yeah, they could only
There's only so many people around you. I get it.
They practiced safe intercourse practice,
and
as the weird as it sounds to say safe intercourse practice, because they were practicing for their wedding night with their cousins.
I don't think that they were actually sexing, because she just kind of, from my impression was when he kind of was like, oh, but, I love you and stuff. She's like, look, we just messed around as kids. That's what cousins do.
Yeah. Okay.
And
that's funny.
That was what she said. I
Right.
don't subscribe to that theory, but I feel like it was just like, I don't know, so maybe it's just some hand stuff.
I watched the whole series with my wife too, and hold on.
oh, we're getting a
Let me-
message.
Is that
Let
from?
me turn the sound
Is that-
off on this boy.
Oh yeah. Did you guys hear about why the stormtrooper switched to iPhone?
Because he hated you.
That's not because they couldn't find the droid he was looking for.
Good. I hope they do, and I hope they die in hell or something. I can't remember the movie quote.
Although, getting back onto Fallout now, I think the next time that I may be going for the intercourse, I may also just say okie dokie.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed that. See, that was one thing. Okay, a lot of the writing was good about that show. Like the okie dokie was cool because it's like they would be really naive about a lot of things, and they would, and the retrofuturism and the old timey slang, that the okie dokie just fit.
And as soon as that boy took off his shirt and I saw a scar of some type,
Oh,
I
yeah.
said something's amiss.
Something is amish.
Something's amiss. Yeah, in a utopian society full of farmers. But throughout the course of the show, you get introduced to other characters, and other people's get the
Maximus.
Maximus gets a lot of focus. Maximus kind of
It's a love-hate relationship with Maximus.
like it seems like, oh, he's doing so good. It's like, oh, stop it. Oh, stop
Well,
it.
it's like- okay. So, I'm gonna get the bad out. I got to get the bad out.
Okay.
Get the bad out.
So
Get it.
My biggest complaint with Maximus was the scene when they're in Vault 4 and they got the medical treatment, and she was like, or he said something like, "You smell good," and I was like, okay, that's weird, but I get it. Different female. They're on the road. Okay, I get it. And then she was like, well, do you want to have sex? And I'm like, okay, I get that too, because, she was in a vault. They do weird vault things. I get that too. Then he's like, we'll see. And then he talks about like his dick exploding. I'm like, why did they have to do that?
Because
That was a very poor writing. Like, Fallout does have, irreverent and just random bits of humor in amongst all the darkness that's in the game. But that one, it didn't land, and it felt ham-fisted.
well, think about where he was raised.
Yeah, in military barracks, they would know.
No. in church military barracks.
Yeah,
mean,
because
that still
So
doesn't-
he
the
was
Brotherhood is-
raised by the church aspect of them, and they taught him that if he was to engage in this activity to make himself ejaculate, that it would actually cause his penis to explode. So they scared him into not doing it and shamed him into not doing it.
I don't know.
Because he was like a cuckoo
I mean,
cult
maybe.
leader.
I mean,
as the
I
le-
understand. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they did make the Brotherhood kind of culty in this, which, in my mind, there's various sects, sects,
Yes.
of the Brotherhood of Steel, and so some of them could be that weird militaristic cultiness, but still fall under the umbrella. I didn't have an issue with that. I know a lot of people did. But like the power armor looks so good most of the time.
I've only gotten through because I'm a bad home worker. I've only gotten through like the most of the first episode, but the effects are awesome. Amazon
Yes.
definitely threw its money at this one. Like the power armor looked so good.
Oh,
Even
yep.
the
Amaz-
explosions in the first scene, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that looks like they actually nuked Los Angeles."
Amazon never skips whenever it comes to like budget for the way stuff looks. Like
I
even
mean, just look at the rocket ship they made.
like Ring of Power, like as much as I hated the show, was beautiful.
Yeah, it because I have little experience with Fallout. I played Fallout 4 for about an hour or two and kind of it didn't tickle my goopy goblin. It didn't tickle my goopy goblin gamer brain because there wasn't shooting all of the time and running forward.
You got to
But-
collect and harvest and survive.
But that's not Call of Duty.
Dude, I turn into Loot Goblin.
Yeah, but
like it's like I've got 47,000 rolls of duct tape. I'm getting this other one
right.
and that enamel bucket.
But I love the aesthetic of Fallout, and I've read a lot on the lore of Fallout, and it's so cool because it is that like the world kind of ended in the 50s, and then it went on
Yep.
for 200 more years,
Retro
stuck in it,
futurism.
and it's just like the nuclear utopia kind of thing. Like
If you look at the way Fallout is designed, they took a lot of inspiration for the way that and like even the way that the future was, because the way that they had it was like what the retrofuturism of the 1950s was. So whenever Disney World was in in Florida being originally built, it was basically they took the aesthetic of Tomorrowland and made it into that 50s, 60s retrofuturism. And so that's kind of what the entirety of watching Fallout reminds me of in that first little, the first little bit and the bits and bops that they go back in time and do some flashbacks and stuff.
Well, see, that was one of my favorite parts was showing the before times because you play the games and you only ever see these neat looking cars and they're all rusted and missing pieces and just messed up. It was really cool getting to see those Fallout cars, how they would have been before the bombs fell. Like the yellow car that Coop drives around in. I think it's the coolest thing because the doors slide into the car. They don't swing open or up or any of that. It goes into like the fender on the front. I'm
believe
like, that's really neat.
I believe there was actually a car, like a real life car that did
I mean,
that.
I feel like there probably was.
Coop was such a cool character to see. Also, to know that the Pit Boy was like the thumbs up Pit Boy, like guy in the suit, coiffed hair. That's him.
Yeah, that was neat too.
Like to see that. Okay, so you're that, and what the thumbs up, and the thumbs up doesn't even mean thumbs up. Good job. The thumbs up is a threat assessment for how big is the bomb.
Yeah, I mean that was literally a way they used to tell people during like Project Paperclip and all that if you held your thumb up and if your thumb covered the mushroom, you're good. You're far enough away from the radiation, which is also not actually the truth. That's a bad gauge. But that was a thing that existed in real life, and they had Easter eggs from like New Vegas and stuff in there because you get to see one of the Pit Boys that you would have saw in New Vegas in a shop as like an antique, almost like a prototype. And all around was like the little bobblehead thumbs up guy. A bunch of cool Easter eggs that was in the games was in the show.
Yeah, I loved that they just had like the little bobbleheads that you would just miscellaneously find, like that you'd have to collect all of them as like trophy, like collect all X amount of trophies, this and that. I like how they just had them literally just about like in different scenes. Like you just have to watch for them because I've started watching through it again, and like they'll have one like on a shelf inside of this sandy ass abandoned house in the middle of a desert where nothing can survive. Yet here's one of these little bobbleheads. Like
and
they're
it
just
looks
Right.
brand new.
Yeah.
which is just like the games. So that was probably one of my favorite things.
I liked the backstory though. I liked seeing how the idea, like the bomb threat that they were under was military crisis. Otto, I hate that we're going to talk about all of this in front of you because you just got to see it play out.
I am okay.
But
like I'm probably going to go home and binge a lot of this. Me and the wife have tomorrow off, so I'm probably going to rope her into watching it with me.
Because the point in the show to where you get these flashbacks and of the ghoul, that is Coop.
Yep.
And the ghoul, like, he's the best Frenching character in the show for me, just because he's just like the way he's portrayed is like he used to be a Western actor.
Well, hold on. Like, that's what you think at first, and you're like, well, how did he get so badass? Like, granted, he's been around 200 years, and being irradiated and all that. It's like, okay, cool. But how does he know how to shoot all this? Because he was just an actor. Then come to find out he was also like a war veteran. He wore a T-60. Like, he'd seen some shit. And then he was just cowboy actor Clint Eastwood style, except kind of dopey shirt, which I'm sure he wore some dopey ones in the day. But
Yeah, kind of like your John Wayne cowboy era, like your
Yeah.
spaghetti westerns.
yeah, dude, his face, he perfectly does it, just all the way around. He's a good actor. Played the part very well.
Walter Goggins did. I've seen him in other things, and that's why I mentioned you guys would probably want to watch The Righteous Gemstones, because he plays the most absurd take on the Reverend Billy Graham you have ever seen in your life.
Dude, I'm convinced Billy Graham's the devil.
I know what movie you're talking about. I've seen clips of that, and
Well,
it is crazy.
It's a television show called The Righteous Gemstones, and his name is Billy, of course, but it's Baby Billy. He's gone by Baby Billy his entire stage life in the Mega Ministries. Oh, you just need to watch it. It's totally religious satire. But Danny, what's his freaking name?
Glover?
No.
Masterson?
No.
DeVito?
He can't act
Why did
no
I
more.
say that?
He acts like he don't want it now. Let me think. Hold on. McBride, Danny McBride. He's the
That's the better Danny.
yeah. He's the one from from Eastbound and Down. But he's a really good character. John Goodman's in it.
I love John Goodman. He's such a good
Adam
actor.
Devine's in
Every
it.
time I see John Goodman in something, I'm like, he's still alive?
Yeah,
I don't mean that in a bad way.
Right.
I'm always genuinely surprised for some reason.
And if you're into country music, Jennifer Nettles is in it. She's from the band Sugarland. She's the mom in the show that is, passed away, such and such. But anyway, back to Fallout. It's just having Mr. Goggins do such a great job in Fallout. You should also watch that show that he is a main part of, just because his character in it is one of my favorite. Oh man, it's just great. You need to watch it. I can't describe it in many words.
all I'm
because
trying to
it's
say
just-
is ass jerky ain't gonna make itself.
that's correct.
That is a direct quotation from the show. It caused the main character and myself some discord. There's a
There
link
it
in the
is.
description. Click it. We're live, uncut, uncensored, irrevocably circumcised.
Oh man, we used to share memes on there. Haven't been sharing many memes on there here
I
recently.
post some, but I get no reacts except from like 2 people. Which, thank you, DT and Tab. I appreciate the reacts.
Reacts like
Reacts.
the
Like,
were those
we need more reacts and stuff.
were those Reeboks or Nikes?
Let's get wild in the Discord. Let's get crazy.
I mean, it is our cult sign up area.
Yeah. No weird sex stuff though. Not even with our cousins.
We're not from vaults.
We are not from vaults.
And for as good as Lucy was in the show, like she's only been in like a handful of things. And like the most notable one for me that I've seen her in was Maleficent. She was the teen Maleficent at that point in 2014. Like the rest of the stuff, I was just kind of drawing a blank. I mean, The Legend of Tarzan, she wasn't even credited for that role. So, I mean, it was just kind of, but she did such a great job. I was like, I want to watch more stuff that she's in. And she did a good job but I can't find. Oh, she was voice acting. Okay.
Yeah,
that
her
makes
voice
sense.
sounded very familiar.
That should make sense because she was in Arcane. She played Jinx.
She kind of made me think of Zoe Deschanel from New Girl,
Yeah, that's kind of.
except in like Fallout.
I think it was the bangs.
Yeah, the bangs and a lot of the mannerisms.
Mm-hmm. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm really looking forward to getting to it. That's one of the reasons I was kind of late to record today, just a little bit, was because I was trying to get more of the show in. I like how they're broken up into like, here's this person's story and here's this person's story, and it focuses. And it was right in the middle of the second Maximus like punch in, and I was like, I want to watch more of this.
That's if there's any of them for you to be able to actually walk away from it, Maximus would probably be the one.
Yeah, yeah. His story, while interesting, is probably the least interesting.
Yeah,
And it's like, I don't know. Vault 4 was kind of just wild.
Vault 4 was wild. That's the medical vault, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like the medical trap.
Yeah.
I like the Maximus stuff so far because I have such a soft spot for military stuff and dudes in big power armor. My favorite character archetype is a guy in big French off armor with a big French off weapon. That's my favorite character in anything. So, like, whenever I saw the power armor suits for the first time, and they're in like the little Brotherhood of Steel camp, I was like, "Ooh, this is all my stuff that I like."
Yeah, see, I had one complaint with the power armor, and that was the arm jets instead of the jet backpack. Because in the games, you can only fly with the jet backpack. But I also understand that to put a giant backpack on top of an already giant suit that your actor is in, it would make it even more difficult to run around. So I could kind of be okay with that change.
Yeah, I also like whenever the ghoul decides to, like, because he's going up against so many of these power armors.
Oh, yeah. Oh, when he just waylays all the dudes from the Brotherhood of Steel?
Yeah. He's like, I used to pilot a T-60 back in my day.
Did they fix that problem with the chest plate?
Pa-pow! I guess not. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
There you
that
go.
was badass.
hell
Oh
yeah.
man, that whole like everything. Like I even love like the camera work and the lighting work and the VFX work, everything along with it. Just watching him step out of the shadow with them ghoul eyes, having his having his night vision from being a ghoul, and then him adjust, like it's showing him adjusting back into the day, like it just the light source being available then too. I just nuts.
Yeah.
It just looked so good, and then also showing too people along the way that were mid ghoul transformation.
Oh, yeah. Roger, I think, was the guy that they...
I am Roger.
Yeah.
I am Roger.
Yeah, just watching him struggle with the change, it was... I don't know, you felt bad for the guy.
And you hear the convulsions and stuff of this, because once you start turning into a ghoul, unless you have a certain medication, like you can't stop the transformation.
Chems.
And
It's called a Kim.
a Kim. Is that what?
CHEM.
Yeah, a Kim pack.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they didn't try to beautify the ghouls.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
like, in some video game stuff, or, like, when they're transferring, they try to make everything, like, more polishy, and you can't really make Fallout polished. Like, the whole point is, like, this is supposed to be 200 years of nuclear radiation fallout that everything has gone on. So if you see something shiny, or, like, someone that's like, yeah, I've lived in the wasteland for 200 years, and they look like a normal human, I'm like, that's not right.
None of them have not a single one of them looked like a normal human. The damn doctor that I've got elixirs and I've got tonics and tonics for my elixirs and the tonics for those elixirs.
I was eating my beans, but all right.
He was a kooky character, but he's like, oh no, I can fix that. I can definitely fix that.
The guy that played the doctor, that just becomes a head for most of it.
Yeah.
He was Benjamin Linus in Lost, and when I saw that and then saw the character he portrayed on there, great casting choice.
Yeah, it was. I don't think anybody was anything was amiss. I mean, even what's his face, the guy, like you go down into Vault 4, and then the one who is the overseer of Vault 4 had just the one eye.
Yeah, and it still looked good. Like, it didn't look overly cheesy.
And you know who that was?
Nobody looks familiar.
Delmer. Pete and Delmer from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Damn, it is, ain't it?
Yeah.
Speaking of,
We thought you was a toad.
Yeah, I can see
That was
it.
him.
I
I
did.
had no idea.
I recently rewatched Oh the Brother Where Art Thou, and I didn't realize that it's a retelling of the Odyssey.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
I know it like tells you in the beginning, but like I didn't, or as a kid, I didn't watch that. And like whenever I was watching, I'm like, oh, it is.
Well, it didn't used to have that at the beginning of the movie.
Really?
That was only in re-releases that they added that.
Yeah.
That was another one that John Goodman was in. He was
Yeah, he played the Cyclops.
Thank you for the fricassees, boys.
He takes over every scene he's in. It's so good.
I love Big Dan. Big Dan, I don't quite understand. It's all about the money, boys.
Yeah.
It's all about the money.
Dude, he did really good in that. Something Avenue, Aliens,
10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yes.
Yeah, go Otto.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, he was almost like he was trying to keep somebody prisoner, but in a way that he was just trying to keep him safe. But was he a psycho? Was he not a psycho?
Yeah, he was very overbearing, and he can play the nice, sweet, funny dad like Roseanne, and then the overbearing, like crazy, like evil dad. But then he's not really, but
And,
he kind of is.
and although Dan Connor did have a soft side, Dan Connor would also beat your ass in a heartbeat if you needed it.
Yeah, he was like a cool Southern dad. Like he could, be a sweetheart, be like the best dad ever, but don't touch my kids.
He was a teddy bear, but also the bear part of that teddy
Yes.
bear.
Yeah,
and a
like-
grizzly at that.
There were several instances in the show to where Dan had to break nice man Dan mode and go be mean Dan mode. And he would always come back and be like ice in his hand or something because he would take it a little too far. And then here comes the cops a couple times. It was always something. But, in Fallout, my favorite character was the ghoul. Lucy was fun to follow as well, just because she was the most character development and transformation that you can have. Because
Dude,
now she went through a level up.
She went quick. she got power leveled.
So far, she's felt the most like the player insert character because
Yeah, absolutely.
I
I
think
know
that
in-
might have been her point.
in 4 you are coming from a vault, so like you
Well,
have
in all of them, you're coming from a vault.
I like. Oh, I think. Oh, either way, yeah. I haven't. I've only played 4, but it's like that. Oh, okay. I don't know anything about the outside world. I just have to run around and click A on everything or X, depending on your flavor, to find out what everything is, and just start mashing.
E.
Sorry, I'm a controller boy.
I'm on PC.
Yeah, he was. I was about to say he does the clicky pads.
You're a Pikmin.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think that it was fun to watch her go through that journey of and how smart of a person she actually is, though, just because her intelligence isn't just book based and it isn't just learned. It is adaptive intelligence that she has.
Oh, absolutely.
And that adaptive intelligence also made her quick to understand certain circumstances, like even down to like the very last decision that she made in the show, aside from I'm gonna go ahead and go French off into the sunset with this dude,
And then cut his head off and carry it around.
but I think that like just the decision she had to make with her mom at the very end.
True.
Like that was just absolutely just mind blowing. That she would have to, see that her mom was alive through all of this, but her mom was a irradiated ghoul and all this other
Like in the final stages.
body is it's a half skeleton.
Like 3/4 of the body has returned to the earth.
Like it was insane, but she was still there. And just like seeing everybody's backstory made you actually give a shit about stuff. Like the New Republic of California, it made you give a shit about because you can see them in the game. They're in the game. You
Yep.
get a little bit of backstory to them.
Yeah, Shady Sands is there. A lot of the locations from the games are there. They didn't do a good job conveying travel and distance between.
And seeing that Lucy's dad did what he did, and he was there's been like the second or like what is it like founding of California. Basically, the second founding of California had happened. They had already started to rebuild society. There were several they were hundreds of years into this rebuilding of society, and he straight up pushed the button again to nuke them.
Well,
but
it wasn't. I don't think
it was a firebomb. I think.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a nuke, but he did bomb. He's the one that destroyed Shady Sands. Like if I don't know if the show is going to be considered canon or not, but if the show is going to be canonical, they answer some of the questions we've had, like what happened to Shady Sands, like why was it bombed? It was, I think the second capital of the NCR. They answer a lot of questions. And so if it's canonical, it satisfies the mystery for some things, but also raises other questions.
I think that they should take liberties like that for the sake of the storyline, because you can't just have...
Well, the show is produced by Bethesda because it does pop up,
Yeah.
so it would have to be considered canonical.
Yeah, oh man. If they're doing this good with Fallout... Here it goes, because it's one of those things, like, if they're doing so good with this, I'd like to see them do this, because that's who I am as a person.
If they do another one, they're going to muff it up. We all know.
Well,
they come out with a Scrim or Skyrim to the layperson TV show.
I wanted to see a Skyrim.
They would just be muggles and just screw it all up.
Man, I would... Give me a live action Voos Roda just one good time and let my legs fall off or something. Like, that's just like from excitement. That's how they would explode off from excitement.
Yeah.
So the first time that I played Skyrim, I played for a couple hours before I figured out how to use magic. I was just chugging healing potions. I was like, how the fuck do I do magic stuff? Because my Skyrim build is heavy armor
with a big French off sword.
Yeah, two-handed fighting and heavy armor, because it doesn't matter how many times you hit me. I just have to hit you once and you go flying.
Well, see, and then my first playthrough of Skyrim was I did the worst thing. Like, immediately as soon as I got to the magic school, I did that entire quest line before I even did really anything for the main storyline. I was over the magical school and still could not use any of my Dragonborn abilities.
Oh my God.
Don't ask me how I did that, because it was very difficult.
Where'd you find your level up cheese?
What do you mean level up cheese?
Your level up cheese, didn't you?
I made so many daggers.
I was just
so many daggers.
I was just wondering if you ended up because every time that I would fight, like, go to a different location and clear a location, you get there and you find the word of power, and oh my God, there's that sorcerer that used to be over the dragons. There's that wheel of cheese. You got to eat the wheel of cheese. Yeah, you got to eat the wheel of cheese to celebrate your level up.
Yeah, I got you. Well, see, I would even collect the couple of dragon words that you find, and I was like, that's weird. Okay, something will explain that. But once you start leveling up the magic to a certain point, then the game is just way too easy, because then you just walk around and nuke everything.
I loved that point in Skyrim, just being able to have these level 5 spells and having your MP increase so much, and your cloaks and all this other crap that you can have on to enhance your magic, and then just power through everybody.
Well, see, what I started doing was, after I leveled up the magic all the way, then I went back to no armor and just a dagger. And then leveled up the two-hand fighting.
I knew people that played Skyrim that would
it was bad.
That would not do anything besides prep food and keep in only wear armor that they would make, and only wear food that they would harvest, and not take healing potions unless they made the potions, and all this other crap. It was they turned it into survival Skyrim.
Dang,
that's crazy.
That sounds like a lot of work.
I would not. I mean, Skyrim's already a lot of work as is. Much less who are the druggers? Is that what the drogers, or what are the zombie things called
in
Skyrim? Yeah,
dude, I don't remember. It's been so long since I played.
There's one specific one that has a double horn helmet, who is super powerful. He usually has a two-handed greatsword. I hated fighting those, regardless of what build I had. I always hated fighting those, because you would fight those and you would already have a wave of enemies, and you have another wave of enemies mid-fight, and he's not even a boss. He's just a dude that's there.
Well, if you went in with full leveled up magic, you just nuke them.
That's true.
Just
but
nuke them.
But that's not always the case. I only had a full leveled up magic a few times while playing, and that was because in the later renditions of your Skyrim, you had the ability to go ahead and just throw some mods in there. And one of the mods was a chest of everything. The chest of everything gave you the ability to do everything. Like you could just, you've played the dude. This was like its third. Like, I think it was its third console that it was on. I didn't need to play the damn Dragonborn quest again. I just wanted to do the stuff.
Right.
I mean, I get it.
So what you're saying is I get increased graphics and I can just do the stuff? I'm going to just do the stuff. So, but yeah, I've never done it with Fallout because with me, it's just never been in front of me. Literally never been in front of me for me while I've been in my video game playing phases to be like, I'm going to play Fallout.
You should. If you ever enter that phase of life again, you should, because it is a lot of fun. I would say start off with Fallout 4, if that's still relevant. Just because it's an easy introduction into it all.
Yeah.
And it's very new user friendly. As opposed to like New Vegas, which New Vegas storyline's better, but it's not as newbie friendly because you're not really going to understand what VATS is and why you need to use VATS ever.
Yeah. Well, and also, because Fallout New Vegas wasn't made by the main team Bethesda, it was made by...
It was made by the originals because
Yeah.
Bethesda acquired it.
Mm-hmm. And it was made...
At some point.
It was made in like 16 months, which is crazy short for a development cycle of video games. That's why, like, if you play some of the original like releases of it on PC, you have to mod the ever-loving French out of it to get it to be stable.
You're also going from like I think 8 or 16-bit. Like playing Fallout 3 on PC is a chore.
Yeah,
just because very few things support it.
And if we're going off of like support for Fallout, if you're not talking about what system can play it, you could talk about reception as far as like how has it been received by people. According to Variety magazine, it pulled 65 million viewers in the first 16 days.
Oh, that's
Damn,
not
but-
good. That's low.
65 million viewers.
I mean, we get that on the reg. You know what I'm
it's a
saying?
lot of balls on it.
Yeah, I think we've got close to 200 episodes, and we're edging 15,000 listens at this point.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's astronomical. Those are fake. Those are fictitious numbers. That's like my dad. That's something he would say. I ain't that much money in the world. So Rotten Tomatoes, of course, we don't like them much because they get paid for stuff, but
They're rotten.
But they still have a 93% rating on there for it. It's gotten a lot of good. I mean, and it's number one still on Amazon right now.
What does the International Movie Database say about it?
Yeah,
the
on
internet.
the internationalmoviedatabase.com.
Because they rate on the database of movies internationally, they rate them too.
International.
Well, I can get on
In
the
a database of
Let me
movies.
find the International Movie Database on
They even
Fallout
do TV
series.
shows on the International
They've got
Movie
an
Database.
8.5 out of 10 on the International Movie Database.com.
That's a solid
They
like B
should
plus.
make an international television
Are you okay?
database.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't
think
know.
I just saw his brain buffer.
Has anybody ever heard the sound of the rainbow wheel? I think I just heard the sound of the rainbow wheel.
like back in the dial-up days when like you're
left
loading
my
a
body for a
JPEG
second.
and it just stopped halfway through for a little bit and then it started again. I think that's what that was.
Yeah.
I kind of got distracted by the grapes. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, whoever decided to put the individual bulbs inside the individual grapes was a genius. Was an absolute genius. Yeah, I mean, are you okay? Don't fixate too hard. It'll be
not.
fine. It'll be fine.
Do we need to turn on the flashy lights
No, I
again?
was just laughing about the buffer.
No. Let's see. I don't really know. Gosh, I don't get on the International Movie Database too often. They've got too many things going on here.
There's so many things.
They've got user reviews. I mean, psst, it's okay to like the show, even if it isn't perfect. Is like the top rated review on here.
What about Letterbox?
So I mean, it's
Do you know they made another Bird Box movie?
no way.
Really?
They did. And
What?
pisses me off that it's a thing.
Well, I mean, Netflix like shits out new movies like every other
All they
hour.
did was just change location. It's a different. It's like Bird Box, this other city.
Cars, here's the goofs, and the goofs are based off of scientific stuff. Cars and signs and painted structures are all in much better conditions than they would be if that was the case of after 200 years. However, this can be excused as it does match the aesthetic and design ethos of the game.
It's almost like it's a TV show, not real
I
life.
know, or a video game, depending on media source.
You know, the funny thing about it is, too, like, I DJ a lot of weddings, and after watching Fallout, listening to the crooner style music really kind of felt different for a little bit.
Oh, I love the old
Dude.
like retro music.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I loved it too.
Welcome
To the Fallout, baby.
like just thinking about that Sinatra-esque, like just the way that those
So
crooners swing into notes and everything, you know, like
Dude, I can get down on some Rat Pack.
the summer wind and the winter wind I'm blowing in. Like I'm thinking like, oh, like used to be brain would say, oh, peaceful summer day, like this is a cool breeze in the summer. No, this is me thinking like, oh, this is the nuclear wind. It's coming my way.
Or
Dying
Raider-
in the wasteland.
Raiders have entered your vault.
Yeah, so I mean, you're just here. So just seeing the stuff throughout the show, though, just watching the little tidbits that are happening all around, like seeing how people would try to survive, like it makes your brain kind of tick a little bit. Like, what if? And number one, in the very beginning of everything, watching how many nuclear bombs dropped close to where Cooper was.
Truth.
No wonder. Actually, yes, wonder how is anything left of him?
TV magic. Because there's like in the first scene, there was like 4 bombs that exploded like the county over. Like they could see the city from where it was.
Yeah, they were for those of you who are of the local area that we are from, they're standing on the top of Sunset Rock, and they can see the nuclear bomb drop in Cookeville.
Yeah, pretty much.
Much. So, and then the final nuclear bomb that drops hits about Southern Doyle.
Man, that'd really interrupt your Sunset Rock activities.
Yeah, no, it'd be way too bright.
You couldn't climb.
You'd have
the
to get a
rock or
blanket.
nothing.
You can like during Christmas, if it's a clear night, you can see like Christmas lights all the way to Cookeville from Sunset Rock.
It's a really nice spot to go look at the stars at.
It's a lot harder to climb down off the very top of it though at nighttime.
I never climbed it. I just chilled in the parking area.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
parking area still has a good view, but it's a much better view from
Yeah,
up top.
but I don't do heights or depths.
Well, guess what? It's both them things,
I
and you
know.
got to like brace yourself on this tree that might be rooted in the side of a like solid piece of rock, but somehow still alive to be a tree.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff to have to like what you have to do to get up there. I've not been up there since my early 20s.
I was sad when they painted over it.
Oh, they got rid of the donkey.
Dude, it used to be covered with so much just graffiti.
Yeah, there was
And
a
it was just like almost a rite of passage to go paint Sunset Rock.
there was a
and now
donkey
it's
that
just
had been up there since
brown.
like the 80s or something. So I mean, that's a long time now.
They destroyed local history.
I've never seen it in the sunlight.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Just drive up to Sunset Rock post sunset.
Yeah, I know.
It's Sunset Rock, not Sun Has Set Rock.
Well, you
Right.
know.
You
Not
just-
nighttime rock.
Well, because so my wife is from McMinnville. I'm from Cookeville, so we'd meet in the middle in Sparta.
and sex at Sunset Rock.
Well, I mean, you know, we didn't.
tiny.
Listen, all I'm saying is the
I
Honda
didn't
CRV.
ask.
The Honda CRV is the best car in the world because the front seats will slide all the way forward and lay completely flat, and then the back seats will lay almost completely back.
Nice.
So you have like a full size mattress inside of the car for just laying down and admiring the stars. It's a really beautiful
nothing
view.
else.
Nothing else. I mean, I'm a good Christian boy. I would
mean,
never
I do like how your what year is it? Like
97.
97 CRV has a panoramic roof.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
really great.
That's true.
Hey, that line worked.
That's what that's the allure.
Oh yeah,
It was
So-
one of the first vehicles to have that.
it's all glass, baby.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's like the Pope Mobile.
Oh god, it is shaped like it. See, the Pope Mobile is just a CRV that got stung by many bees.
Is anybody else that the dog was just okay?
I was glad that dog meat was there. Okay, through the first several episodes, they would put dog meat in danger, and I'd be like, if something happens to that fucking dog,
I know I was
I'm
cussing
gonna
with
lose
my
my
wife.
mind. Like when Thaddeus did what he did. Oh boy, like that.
Yeah.
I'd have tore out his throat with my bare hands.
Yeah, Trudy and me were
You have
watching
bare
this.
hands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen them paws?
Yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, Trudy and me were watching it, and
I
I
could palm a newborn.
and he did that, and she was like, like she was like on the couch, like just a mixture of like sad and so angry. And Millie's had a haircut, and she doesn't want you to touch her, so she just had to like pet Millie a little bit. But then Millie's like, "Okay, don't touch me," and screamed. So
She probably had a similar reaction to what I had the first time I saw I Am Legend. When what happened to the dog happened to the dog in that
God.
one.
Oh,
And
God.
then I grab my dog and I hold her and I'm like, I love you so much.
I know you love me,
And-
Dad. Not so tight.
Yeah, and
Don't love me so tight.
And she was like, I want down, and I'm like, I will never put you down because I love you so much. I just want to hold you, and that's sad. And I got to put the sad into happy by holding you. And she's like, I'm done, Dad. And you're like, we'll never be done. Do you not love me anymore?
And Amazon overall has this at 4.7 out of 5 stars for what people have voted it. It's been voted close to 3,000 times.
Well, what is it out of 6 stars?
I don't know. They do a 5-star rating system, much like we do if you get on Spotify or maybe Apple Podcasts, which it's mostly Spotify or Apple Podcasts unless you're listening to us over in Germany. I don't know who you are, but thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Like, I was surprised. And
Yeah, Donkashane.
and the fella who's over in Zimbabwe, you're cool too.
Oh, I didn't learn Zimbabwe.
Yeah, there was like a listener that's a regular listener, like over in Zimbabwe.
Hey, we're
I don't
Mr.
know how you found us or why, but thank you.
Right? Hey, we're global now.
That is
We are
true.
literally an international.
We're
podcast.
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Oh my gosh! Don't make him Mr. Worldwide. Oh my God! Is Pitbull just going to show up in here? Is he gonna? Is he?
I mean, he did go to that Walmart in Alaska.
You know you want me. No, what is hold on. Fireball. That's the one.
Fireball.
That's the perfect like ADHD hook to get in your head and piss you off for an entire weekend.
It also makes some great meme music.
I don't know. Every now and then, I still get that stupid sweet tea is made of leaves crap.
Oh, that was me.
You
I did that
earwormed
to you.
me so hard with
Su-
that.
Sweet tea is made of leaves, boiling water, let it steep.
Yeah.
Just
Hell
in case
yeah.
you forgot and you needed a reminder. I earwormed Jamie at the shop all the time with Waiting for Tonight by Jennifer Lopez.
I don't know why that one earworms him like that.
God, he gets to be
he gets so mad.
He gets
he
like
hit me in the
angry.
nuts with a whole ass monkey.
What?
Yeah, he had this like little rubber monkey from somewhere, and I was gonna do it to him because Austin did it to him, and I thought it'd be funny just out of the blue.
He also throws
somebody
things at me.
He hit me directly right in my right testicle. Probably the hardest I've ever been hit was something so small because I didn't even see it fly across the room, but he shot it like Gambit from X-Men, and it hit my testicle so hard that it forced it up inside my stomach and almost out of my rectum.
And then he had a mutation. To me, my X-Men. So,
Exactly.
yeah, the earworms. I'm really good at the earworms. I don't have an earworm for Otto just because he doesn't get bothered by earworms.
Yeah.
He gets bothered by textures. That's
Right.
his thing. And
Well,
I'm just
true.
always looking. I found a new pair of gloves. I forgot to bring them.
Oh God. Well, because I think it's because I also have the ADHD earworms, and I have my own. If you ever want a really good earworm, look up Music Meister. From the Batman, the Brave and the Bold's soundtrack. I am the Music Meister. It's so good.
Dude,
I
I
love-
earwormed myself with that song "Lick a Bulldog's Ass" before. Okay, so
What?
I'm just gonna have to let you listen to it after the show. It is probably one of the worst songs ever recorded.
You know what the worst song ever recorded is, though?
I fucking hate that song. If I could erase one song from the face
Hold on.
of humankind.
We get 30 seconds. Hold on. Just let the listeners enjoy it for 30 seconds so they can have it the rest of the day. Now, to your left, there's nothing but wasteland. To your right, you see a glimpse of New Vegas. And this is what's going on the radios in New Vegas, because this is the classic music. I don't know. I've never played New Vegas. Cotton Eye Joe.
If I could erase one song from human history as it never existed, it would be that one. No questions asked.
How dare you? How dare you?
I hate.
Seven is going to clap back with something so awful.
Yeah.
Seven's going to
I
clap back with something
hate-
so awful that he's going to make you wish that you never dissed Redneck's Cotton Eye Joe
I
version. that
don't
way.
care. I don't fear God. I will flip it off and walk backwards into hell. I don't give two Frenches. I hate that song.
I love
It's
that
the
you have the
worst.
reaction that you're having to this song, because I didn't know that I could have a song to give you this
Because it's not even
reaction.
earwormy for me. It's just annoying.
Ah.
It's not even good because like I like old bluesy country shit, and it's just they're not even American. They're from Sweden, and it's just Swedish house music that sounds like some bastardization of freaking honky tonk music, and I hate it. And the lyrics don't make sense because it's a murder ballad. If you read the lyrics, it's a folk song murder ballad that they turned into that.
I'm just really confused right now.
He's got passion in his bones.
I hate it because if you listen to it, there's
I
a
don't know
rendition.
How did we get over to Sweden? That's the part I'm confused about.
because that's where Rednecks, the band that does the song, is from. They're from Sweden.
Okay,
If
I had
you
no
look,
idea.
Cotton Eye Joe is originally a murder ballad from the Appalachian,
Yeah.
and it's really good. But then they come over here and turn it into some club hit that is just
All they did was put some house pump beat behind it.
it upsets me greatly. And I before I knew all that, I didn't like the song. The first time I heard it, I was like, "This is not a good song," and I don't like it. And it's the one song because I can put up with a lot of music. I listen to so much music, I can put up with a lot. That is the one that I'm like, turn the radio off. I will jump out of the car.
So, do you hate the original, like classic OG version now too?
No, I like the OG version because, like, when you do folk murder ballads, it's a lot like it's not even the lyrics that upset me; it's the way that they sing the lyrics with the music. Because it sounds, I think what it is it sounds like someone making fun of the Southern accent. And as someone with a Southern accent, I really hate when people do the sound that sounds like this. It's like
Dealership down in the middle of the cow pasture.
yeah, because it's like that's
right.
not what we sound like most of the time.
You know, the
Look, that's just the ones that make it on the news.
I think
know.
I think that's how I originally found out that I had some kind of spectrum of autism, is because radio jingles and stuff stick with me so well, but I can't remember things that I'm supposed to remember. There's an old dealership that used to be a few towns over from where I grew up, but on the radio they'd always have their radio commercials. It was Mike Anderson Ford. And Mike Anderson Ford, they would always end their commercials, regardless of what specials they had going on for what kind of vehicle of the month. It was always Mike Anderson Ford, home of the lifetime oil change, located here in beautiful Smithville, Tennessee. Like, why? Why do I remember that? I got people real bad the other day because all I had to do was wait. You just have one word you're supposed to say. Just one word, and you got to wait until I point to you. 800-588-2300 Empire.
.com.
Today, you savage heathen.
Today, you
that is
Gen Z piece of shit.
No, I know
can't
which one.
believe-
I know which one. It's just that my brain has so many things buzzing around it, and I haven't watched that commercial in a while because that used to be on News Channel 5 whenever I'd be waking up in the mornings next to the Light Rock 95.9 commercial and the it's the one for it's love songs, Times Life love songs.
Oh, that's the Ultimate Love Songs collection.
Yes.
Otto, why can't you just be older? That would solve a lot of problems.
Tell me how am
I supposed to live without you?
Yeah, that's
Ugh.
with your favorite love songs all in one place, here and now. Sorry, it's just it
yeah,
was
there we
it
go.
was always on after wrestling. Like if you went like if I, it was two things. I would either go to sleep after wrestling because that's when Star Trek: The Next Generation would come on, or I'd stay up past my bedtime and watch Star Trek: The Next Generation and pass out in the middle of a Borg episode and have some nightmares, only to wake up to Celine Dion screaming her lungs out. 'Cause I'm your lady.
It's better than waking up to the ASPCA commercials.
Oh God, those are all so sad. I'm Sarah McLaughlin. I'm here to ruin your whole fucking night.
Or if you're more of my generation,
Here's a shizzy with one eye.
it was waking up at 2 a.m. to dun, 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 and it was George Lopez Lowrider because it only came on at 3 a.m. for some reason on Nickelodeon. I've never watched George Lopez at any time that's not between the hours of 10 p.m. and 4 a.m.
Oh man, I forgot all about that show.
Oh, there's a lot. I don't want to remember the George Lopez show.
We're just having a lot of different fallouts.
Yeah,
that
you know
we're
that
supposed to have.
isn't that funny? How we talked about Fallout, and towards the end of this episode, we've had a falling out of just the train of thought that we would have had because it's just our classic nature. This is what we do in
Hey,
conversations.
you guys keep listening to this. This isn't new. You're on almost episode 200. You know what to expect.
So, and also, most of you now have you've subscribed to your Patreon, you've subscribed to your to our Discord, so you get on there and you get to experience what we're like to actually just be with.
Oh yeah, and officially we can say that we've added a $10 tier to the Patreon. That's not a ploy for you to give us more money. Also, it's a ploy for you to give us more money. But we're going to add more content to that solely for the $10 tier.
And I let everybody down this last week.
Moving forward, any video content except for what will eventually happen on YouTube, like behind the scenes type video content, will be for the $10 tier. And we're going to try to do a weekly upload in some fashion for those people.
Yeah, and Otto and me, we actually got together this week. We went out and we actually played disc golf. It was a fun time. We actually played 18 holes of disc golf at 2 different courses.
Yep.
And we didn't even have, and there was about like hole 7
On the
second course. And I said, oh, we were going to record this.
Right.
And I just absolutely fluffed it because I forgot that I was going to record some stuff.
You could have just turned it into a vlog style thing.
I could, but at the same time, I just completely forgot because also this week, in my quest to remember filming Nerds Touch Grass, I myself had an experience of nerd touch fungus, and it might have reset what I don't remember, my short term for a smidgen.
It wiped the cookies of your brain.
Yeah, I had to clear all cache. I had to clear the cache.
But it was a fun disc golf, even though that here in where we lovely live, it's getting up to the 75 to 80 degrees with 80% humidity, and standing in the middle of an open field with no breeze, trying to think about, I need to throw this disc when your
perspirating.
Your junk is melted down to your knees because it is so hot, and your ass crack is thoroughly moistened. And you're like, I need to do this putt, and then you go to putt, and then you slide around because you're sliding around in all the sweat.
Yep.
It's hard to remember things.
Yeah,
your cheeks all slide together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's.
Then you end up making out with the guy you're playing disc golf with.
No,
under a tree
Our wives
in the
are with
shade.
us.
Yeah, that's not.
And,
That's
I mean,
Tiny. You play disc golf way different than we do.
Yeah.
I think that you only went with us once, and then we didn't play the way you liked, so you didn't play with us ever again.
I just never been invited again.
He was making eyes at me when we were rounding hole 4 whenever we played together.
That's because I was just like, I'm glad I'm not the only one that sucks real bad.
Yeah, I've gotten better.
I know. I'm sure you're like way better than me now because
I wouldn't say
I've
way
only
better.
played the once.
You want to know? The greatest thing? My wife beat him.
Yeah,
She's like a natural at some of these shots. You ought to see some. It's scary because
Yeah.
I've been playing a long time and sometimes can't throw the frisbee as well as she's thrown the frisbee a few times.
my wife is doing the same thing. We were playing because I had a big problem with not throwing flat, and literally I handed her my driver, which is a lighter driver, and she just did a perfect flat full flight throw, and I'm like, I had to work so hard to get that, and my body still doesn't do it sometimes. And you're on your 5th game, and you're shooting to the same area as me. It's upsetting.
Yep. It's it's fun. Hopefully Tiny will get to come out and throw some with us. The problem with that is now the time that we will be out throwing frisbee, most of the time you will be out dashing.
Well, see, I don't DoorDash as much now. I mainly do Walmart Spark since I finally got into there.
Okay.
And it's so much easier to make time because the money is way easier to make with the Walmart Spark as opposed to DoorDash. Also, since we're on the subject, if you live at a place and you own the place, put numbers on the side of your house or have them visible on your mailbox?
Yes, please.
Please, for all your delivery people and for the love of everything holy, have some way on your property that has the numbers, because GPS, especially through Spark, because I think it uses maps instead of Google Maps, it sucks and always wants to dump me in a field.
Wait, just
instead of
maps?
at the address? Yes.
Just the Maps app.
Yes, I can't
That's
figure out how to change settings, if it's possible, to make it do Google Maps.
Because Maps will lead you into like cow fields.
Yeah.
Like Maps will be like, oh, this is your road. And you're like, this is a driveway that's made of gravel
Yeah,
that stops
I mean,
halfway in the cow field.
I'm going to
Exactly.
get shot if I go down
this is
here.
where
Yeah,
some-
exactly.
and then you see a house like one house over, and you're like, but am I going to pull in here? Or am I going to pull in where the GPS is telling me?
Yeah, it's like I might as well just Magellan my ass over there through the woods.
like I could have map quested and printed this out and done better.
Yeah, pretty much.
See, Otto, what we used to do before GPSs existed, before, we were the age that people...
There used to be a GPS that you would fold and keep in your glove box.
Yes.
It was called
and if
a
you
map.
got it wet,
We
it wouldn't have to be as wet as your phone wet.
My mom used to print out
But it would
MapQuest
die.
and go, and whenever I got old enough to be in the passenger seat, I was now the MapQuest person.
Yeah, your navigator.
Yeah, and I'm like, listen, I am so glad we have GPS now, because it's like in 4 miles. I'm like, what? What do you mean 4 miles? What
Well,
the
it's
fuck
like-
am I,
it's
Christopher
like, then
Columbus?
why do I have this guy over here in my right seat? Because I used to employ a navigator, and now it's just my phone. And now I'm kind of lonely.
I'm really good at navigating, so
Me and Jeff, we were bros.
I typically will navigate even if I have a GPS. Like if I'm riding with somebody, I'm typically going to keep up with stuff and make sure that I know the route that we're taking. Just because in the year of our Lord 2009, I was ghost hunting and I was traveling all over the United States, and my friend Samson, albeit a wonderful person, was a shit navigator. So he would squirrel brain and not be able to focus on the map, because that's how we got places. We would take the map. And guys, technological advances shouldn't be as good as they are in this amount of time, because how long it would take us to get places taking a map as a comparison to like what a GPS does for people these days. Like, it's insane how quick a GPS gets you places.
Oh, yeah, I love Google Maps.
Because I can remember I got lost in Missouri because, like, Missouri is so much the same. Like, it was scary. We thought we were trapped in, like a loop. Like,
that's bad.
like, you drive into the fog, and then all of a sudden you're driving out of the fog and you're back at the same gas station that you just left, kind of loop kind of deal. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that we felt like we were trapped in Missouri. We called it Misery. No play on Stephen King, but that was why we were there.
I hear they love company.
Misery, love not company. Hey, speaking of Misery, love and company, if the ghoul walked into your bedroom at night and all you saw was just his glowing silver eyes, and he reached out, and in your face was a dusty cowboy glove holding some grapes.
I would ask if this was cowboy time.
I would ask if this was Falls Outs times.
I would grab my cordless hole puncher from beside my nightstand table.
I didn't realize it would do no good because he's a ghoul.
And then he would tell you, Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers is the best Christian television you'll ever see.
And that ass jerky won't make itself.